It's a horrible, horrible experience for all of these flood victims, but we get through it.
Probably my worst nightmare. So it was a lot worse than I think I thought, or anybody. I'm assuming after what all happened, I think a lot of people just were caught off guard with the amount of water and the depth of the water. The Cedar River rising had started backing up the city sewer system. I came down the ground floor and I looked out the south window of the Lundy lobby here, and there was water about 3 blocks away on 9th Street.
It was hot and smelly, and but it was amazing to see a couple things, like the sense of community. We were all just like one big team, somebody grabbing sandbags, somebody filling. We trade off every like 20 minutes because they'd be like, you need to switch or you're gonna get tired. And then to our left, watching the hospital evacuate.
Sister Susan, one of the Sisters of Mercy, was watching this, and I walked up next to her and I saw that she had a tear on her cheek. And I put my arm around her and I said, "Sister, it's gonna be fine." And she looked at me really confused as to why I would say that. She said, "Well, of course it's going to be fine." She goes, "I'm just touched by the number of people that are here helping."
And you know, that night when we were sandbagging, so our office was on the first floor, and there was skids of sandbags going through the halls, and they were, of course, dirty.
So you have what is traditionally a sterile environment, and to be throwing dirt sandbags on what you've always thought of as being hollowed, sterile field, and you're chucking sandbags at it to save it, was just a devastating thing to be doing.
You have to worry about patients in our beds. We had to worry about elevators functioning. And I believe sometime, I'm not sure what time Thursday evening, Mr. Charles made the decision to evacuate our hospital.
I felt like Apollo 13 the day after when we were all assembled in the Halligan Center, and someone came and whispered in Tim Charles's ear something, and then he said, he had a strange look on his face, and he said, "You have 1 hour to get what you need. We are evacuating the hospital. We've never done this before. We are closing, turning off all the computers. We don't know if they'll restart." And the plaza then became the life raft for the hospital.
Well, we had a great participation by a lot of different physicians: Chad Abernathy, Tim Sagers, Mark Valier, who was our chief medical officer at the time, really was instrumental in making the difficult call of starting to evacuate the hospital, and it was done at a time where it wasn't so clear. For those that remember the flood, everybody was shocked by how quickly and how much the waters came up, and we were no different here, and it took some forward thinking to be in a position that was taking the best care of our patients we could.
I remember the EMS crews doing an amazing job of triaging those patients about who could travel the furthest, who needed to go to ICU. They always had a nurse by their side and a tag on their chest that said where they were going to. That one hit hard.
We opened within 16 days, and that was an indication of just the genius of our plant operations team, Bob Oberding and his group, in being able to design literally a clinical resource out the 10th Street entrance that included mobile services like cath labs and nuclear medicine, that enabled us to be able to continue caring for patients.
Tim Charles guaranteed us that we would all get our full paychecks. He met with us absolutely every morning in the cafeteria just to reassure everyone.
This is where Mercy
we have this, you know, don't fear. There's always people who are afraid, well, do I have a job? What's going to happen? He said,
you will continue to be compensated as you have. You will not experience a change in that. You can know that your job is there.
You won't be doing the job that you usually do, but you're going to be doing what we need you to do. And to me, yes, use these hands because they're doing work they never thought they could do or would be doing. You know, it didn't matter if you were clinical or where you happened to be working.
No matter what the job was or whatever my job title, everyone was one. It was a whole team effort. Everyone pitched in. It was. I mean, nobody treated anyone. Everyone treated everyone as an equal.
it was really a huge group effort because we had everybody from every department had to work together. I know I helped muck out a coworker's house one day.
The flood served as a catalyst for a lot of improvements throughout the hospital. Before the flood, the ground floor ranged in decor from the original build to brand new trauma center. So the flood enabled the ground floor to have a very similar appearance all the way around. Everybody was updated so that visitors and guests and patients who come in see the same decor wherever they walk.
So when you look at the Mercy Medical Center campus, I mean, 8th and 8th building is different, the 600 building is different, Hall Prime is different. So a large part of the medical center campus has changed significantly in the 10 years.
The flood required that we get what probably would have been a 10-year capital project done in a year. So literally by the end of our recovery period, we had virtually a new hospital.
Well, Mercy has a lot of expanding to do, in not so much of the space that we occupy, but the services that we do. I think that with the changes in healthcare, what we're seeing are more specialty areas, more focus on outpatient procedures, surgeries, imaging, those kinds of things. So we're becoming more and more accessible to the community on a schedule that works for them. So that means different sites, different hours, different types of services, and those things will change dramatically over the next decade.
I mean, my vision is there's a building like a Hall Prime that houses cardiovascular services. My vision is that it's somewhere on 8th Avenue to kind of complement what is on 10th Street. And in that building are physicians' offices. I'd like to see a track on the first floor that's a large part of cardiac rehab, that there's a promotion for healthy living.
Where we need to continue to develop our sophistication is in this whole arena called population health, which is how do we begin working with the community in trying to find ways to actually stay out of the hospital, to not necessarily need all of this. So there's going to be continuing effort and work on our part to find ways to elevate the wellness of our community.
It gives everybody a common experience, kind of. So I think, and anybody that was here then, you can sit down in a room and mention it, and then everybody has their stories about, what it was like and how it impacted them.
I just love Mercy and everything that we've done. And we're growing, leaps and bounds. And so I see us just really excelling in the community.
I would like us to have the same level of commitment from our staff that we had then, and I believe that we do have that people view it as their hospital and that they are the ones that provide the Mercy touch.
Now for those of you who have joined us, many of you who hear tales of this amazing event in Cedar Rapids, as well as this hospital, I think it's helpful to realize that you've joined an organization and you've joined a team that has that kind of courage, that kind of backbone, that kind of guts, that kind of devotion to the future of the institution. So you've joined a team that is that is really going to be here, that has very deep and solid roots. And we welcome you to be a part of this. To those who actually picked up a squeegee, picked up a broom, picked up sandbags, I can't say anything other than thank you. Thank you. We would not be here today doing what we're doing had you not done that.